Hi guys, Richard here with another quick after work video. I want to talk about buying and selling guitars, specifically guitars, but this applies to basses and instruments of all sorts. Actually, lots of things. But I want to talk about specifically guitars because that's mainly what I buy and sell. I'm currently right in the middle of an acoustic guitar buy and sell-a-thon because I thought it'd be a fun event for the channel, and I don't do enough acoustic stuff. Anyway, I want to give some tips on how I do what I do because it is a substantial supplement to my income. And if you guys want to do it, you can. And I just want to kind of share with you a little bit of what I've learned over the years of doing it. You know, they say if you're going to start a venture, don't use your own money. Of course, we don't really have that option. So my suggestion is to create a kitty, which, not this kind of kitty, though those are great too. Have a kitty, have a stash of money specifically set for buying and selling your instruments, buying and selling what it is you're buying and selling. And start with, you know, say, pick a number, say $100. Go out, see if you can buy one or two guitars for $100 and sell them. And then come back with $120 or $200, whatever it is you make off of that, and use that to buy your next instrument to sell, and keep doing that. And it will take you longer, you know, it'll take a lot longer than just going out and buying a whole bunch of guitars with the money you've made at work or whatever, but it will be more rewarding, and it will keep the money for your bills and such safe. That's why I do it. My bills are always paid because I keep the money from work separate from the money from all these guitar projects and ventures you see me in. So that's kind of the first tip. Come up with a kitty, a certain amount of money to start with, and always keep money there. Okay? Don't spend it all if you can't make it all back. And that's tough, but some of these other tips will kind of fall into that as well. So number two, I'd say know your demographic, which means figure out who you're marketing to. There are just as many types of guitars as there are types of people out there, and for that very reason. You don't just want to try to sell Fender Stratocasters when you're in a brutal metal area. You know, you don't want to go try to sell just BC Rich Warlocks to guys in 10-gallon hats who want tellies. You have to know who you're selling to. And a lot of that depends on your geographical area. So, I live in a coastal town. I live in Pensacola, Florida, and it really is a melting pot. And so, in that respect, I'm kind of lucky. But I do lean more towards the heavy metal side of things because I was in a bunch of metal bands back in the day, a bunch of punk bands and stuff like that, and those are the people I know. So those are the people I try to reach and market to. Now that leads me into my next tip, which is just general knowledge about what it is you're selling, about the instrument. So, for instance, one of these guitars I'm selling is this JB Player guitar, right? It's a relatively cheap acoustic. Now, if I take that and I try to sell it to somebody and I go, well, I don't know anything about it, it's just a guitar I found, I might sell it. But when I'm conversating with someone, you know, and they ask me about JB Player, I can go, yeah, they were started in 1995 in Charleston, South Carolina, and they do a lot of import from China and do a lot of their assembly here in the US, and I can say stuff like that because I've done a little bit of research. So don't check that date. I haven't got the date yet. That was just making that up. I don't like the BS. I like to tell the truth. Very important. Because when you're buying and selling in the underground, like I tend to do, your reputation is very important. And just recently, I sold a guitar. The guy wasn't happy with it, so I bought it back from him. Because I like to keep my rep up. I don't like to sell anything I'm not happy with. But that's the way I do business. So learn about your instrument, okay? You know, learn all you can about manufacturers that you are specifically going to be trying to sell. So I know a lot about BC Rich. I know a lot about Ibanez and Washburn and stuff like that. A lot of these metal guitars and such. I try to know a little bit about everything. Now, if you are buying and selling multiple things, especially through social media, talk with people and don't be afraid to bundle your stuff. So this is kind of like tip 3 or 4 wherever we are now. A bundle can help you get the price you want for a certain item while maybe you're lowering the price on an item that you don't care too much about. So let's say you're selling a guitar for $100. Somebody only wants to pay you $80, and you go, well, I'll throw in this guitar stand. How about that? Or I'll throw in this gig bag. How about that? And then normally you can get them to where you want them, you know. And then realistically, in the price of buying and selling stuff, I come across gig bags and stands all the time with instruments I buy. So it's an easy thing to add to a bundle. But if someone says, hey, I notice you have this guitar for $100 and this guitar for $150, can I give you $220 for both? You might consider it. So bundling is something you can think about. As well as grouping your profit margin, which is sort of what I call it, but it's when you have instruments that you're trying to sell or items you're trying to sell and you just can't get the number you want off of one item. So I have a guitar. I want to sell it for $120. People are lowballing me, and they will, like crazy, even though in my heart of hearts I feel like they shouldn't do that. And, you know, I really need to get this $120 out of this guitar. Okay, I have another guitar that's pretty good. That guitar I'm selling for $80. Well, if I can sell this other guitar for $100, or if I have a better profit margin on this other guitar, then that frees up money in my overall kitty to lower that price of the $120 guitar to $100. So that way I can sell it and keep moving product, and I come out basically in the same range. And I do that all the time. I try to sell instruments as cheap as I can because I know how it is to be a poor musician, but I also try to make sure the instruments I'm selling are reliable. So my profit margin, I look at the overall. So if I know I can't get the money that I should get out of an instrument, I can usually sell something else, and then that will leave me the opening in the budget of the profit to lower the original instrument I was trying to sell. So think about that as well. Offer trades. If somebody has something that's out of your price range, but you have a guitar that you got for say $40 or $50, and it's worth $100 or more, but you've only got 40 or 50 in it, and you trade it for a $200 guitar plus $100 out of your pocket, well then you've cleared $50 on that deal for that trade, and then you can go sell the thing for $200 or however much you want to sell it for. Trades definitely help. Find ways to sweeten the deal. Just because someone says no, that doesn't mean that's the end of the negotiation. And I'm only referring to buying and selling here. Nothing else. Okay. Always Squiers. That's another tip. Always Fender Squiers. For some reason, Fender is so ingrained in the guitar mythos that when people see a Fender, they go, that's what a guitar is supposed to look like. So that you can sell a Fender Squier to people who aren't guitar players all day long. I do it all the time. Someone says, hey, I want a guitar for my kid. Well, you don't show them a BC Rich Ironbird because they're going to go, oh, he'll put his eye out. You know, if it's a starter guitar for a starter kid, you sell them a Fender Squier. And if you know how to wheel and deal, I get Fender Squiers between $40 and $100 all the time, and I usually sell them around a $100 price point. If I pay a little more for a better one, I usually put a gig bag with it and try to get $120 to $140 out of it, depending on what it is. But Fender Squiers and Fender Squier P basses, just as soon as I get them in, they're gone, out the door. They sell very, very quickly. And again, I'm in a more metal area, but I am in an area where a lot of people go to music stores, and music stores around here, for any style, will usually try to sell their, $200 to $300 guitars to people, And it's just really not feasible for people just starting out to dump that much on a guitar. I know it doesn't sound like much, but I don't live in a rich area. So again, know your demographic, and cheap guitars are my demographic. Places to find guitars, thrift stores. You know, think outside the box. Don't just go to pawn shops and guitar stores. Go to thrift stores. I have found electrics and acoustics for 20 to 50 bucks many times and sold them. I've found full drum sets in thrift stores that I've paid 80 bucks for or less and sold them for a much better profit than that. I bought drum kits from thrift stores and then broke them apart and sold them, and piecemeal sold them for more money. So think outside the box, be creative. Go to, you know, eBay's getting worse and worse. It's harder and harder to find cheap things on eBay, and I'll tell you why right now. As an eBay seller, I've got one thing up for sale on eBay right now, and once that base sells, I'm probably not going to sell more on eBay. eBay takes 10% of what you're selling. PayPal takes 9% of what you're selling as of this recording. And eBay also takes a monthly fee. So if I sell one thing per month on eBay, they're going to take that same fee regardless of whether I sell one thing or 100 things. So it's better. I know if I have to sell on eBay, I try to find everything at the same time that I need to sell and try to sell it all within that 1 month so that I don't get hit on the next month for that fee as well. It's stupid. And then of course shipping and packing and stuff. So it's super expensive to buy and sell, or to sell on eBay. You have to pump your prices up, and that's why it's getting more expensive for the rest of us to buy on eBay as well, because used guitars, it's like $70 to ship a guitar right now. A little more. It sucks. In a guitar box. It's really difficult. Unless you're a big company and you can make deals with UPS and FedEx to flat rate your stuff. So yeah, look at that. Look at eBay, of course. Look at Reverb. That's a great one. Music Go Round. Guitar Center's used section always, but keep in mind that Guitar Center charges tax. Also look at other online auction sites. I am part of a local auction group that does estate sales and closing business sales and stuff like that, and I have gotten, and I still haven't done a video on it. I won this auction and got a ton of vintage Alnico speakers. I think I got 6 12s, 4 15s, a ton of little 6s, 8s, and 10s, a bunch of old organ amps, Hammond organ amps, a Leslie rotating speaker cab, which we're going to do something with at some point on the channel, for 80 bucks all together. So look at other auction things. Go to estate sales. Check around your local area, because there are secrets and gems hidden everywhere. So guys, I appreciate it if you watched this video, if you made it all the way through. I know it's just a talky video, but sometimes I like to just talk to you guys and hear back and forth from you. I know a lot of you on this channel do the same thing I do. You buy, you repair, you sell. And of course, knowing how to work on instruments will definitely help you sell instruments, because you can buy something cheap that's broke and you can fix it and you can sell it for more money. So thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. And look for all these acoustic vids to be coming out soon. I'll see you next time.